Hello and welcome. Pairs trading and statistical arbitrage rely on identifying stock pairs that move together over time. Today I'll show you how to scan the entire S&P 500 for co-integrated pairs using Python. By the end, you will be able to detect stock pairs whose price spread follows a stable pattern, making them potential candidates for trading strategies. First of all, we need a couple of libraries. Pandas, Y-Finance, NumPy, nothing new until now. Stats models to run an OLS regression, Dickey-Fuller to run an ADF test, and combinations to make our life easier. Next, I'm just going to pull all tickers from the S&P 500, which are stored on a Wikipedia page, which I'm reading in using Pandas handy read HTML function. Then I'm transforming that to a list, ending up with all tickers in the S&P 500, which are 503. And next, I'm just going to pull price data for those tickers using YF's download function and pass those tickers to the download function. And I'm starting my analysis 2020. You can pick whatever time horizon you're interested in. And I'm just going to pull the close column here. This is going to download 503 stock prices starting 2020. And the data frame is looking like this. So the columns are the stocks, so A, Apple, and so on. And then you have prices starting 2020 until the most recent date. Now that we have our stock data, we need to compare every possible combination of two stocks to see if they have a relationship. And for that, we are about to take a quick excursion into the wonderful world of Combinatorics. Don't worry, promise it won't be painful. With over 500 stocks, the number of possible pairs is massive. The number of ways we can pick two stocks from a list of 503 is calculated using the combinations formula. That is, number of assets divided by the number of combinations, in our case 2 pairs we want to have, times number of assets minus number of pairs factorial. Rearranging terms, you can do that quite straightforward. This you can just subtract, ending up with that. And then this you can write in a different way. You can take 503 factorial and just write 503 times 502 times factorial of 501. And now you can cancel out terms again. This will be missing, this will be missing, and this is the final formula to find the combinations here. So 2 factorial is just 2, as you know. So 2 times 1 is just 2. So you can write that as this. So this is how you find the combinations of 503 assets taking 2 pairs here. So 126k combinations. All right. So a lot of combinations. Clearly, we need a way to filter them down before running heavy computations. So what do I mean? We have over 126k stock pairs. Running a full co-integration test on all of them would be too slow, at least in Python. The ADF test, which we use in the next step, is computationally expensive because it considers different lag values when testing for stationarity. To make this process efficient, first apply a Pearson correlation filter and only keep highly correlated pairs. Helps us avoid unnecessary computations on stock pairs that are unlikely to be co-integrated. So again, why use correlation filtering? If two stocks aren't even strongly correlated, they are unlikely to be co-integrated. And running the ADF test on all pairs will take too long. Step significantly reduces computation time. The Pearson correlation, only tells us if two stocks move together, but not whether their relationship is stable over time. Before calculating the correlation, let's wrap up all the combinations in a data frame. And therefore, I'm just using this very handy combinations function from itertools. You can code that from scratch, also a fun project. So combinations on just df columns. So again, df columns are just the asset names. You can also pass tickers here. And then you need to provide the number of pairs you want to have, and we want to have all 2 pairs here. So this will provide you an iterTools object. You can wrap that in a list or in data frame. I'm just taking a data frame because it's nice to see. So as you see, we're getting our just calculated 126k combinations here, and we get them listed here. So A apple, A BBV, and so on. So let's store that somewhere. I'm just going to call that combidf, and I'm giving the columns meaningful names here. So stock 1 and stock 2. So this is our combination data frame, and now calculating the correlation for filtering is straightforward. So you just pass those pairs to the data frame. So you screen for instance, for this pair, and then you calculate the correlation on these prices here. So how can I do that? I'm just going to create a column here, and then I'm just going over every single row here and calculate that correlation. So you can do that using the apply function on a data frame. So combidf apply, and then you just need to pass a correlation calculation here within the lambda function. So I'm going over every row, use NumPy's correlation coefficient function, and then I'm just passing, as I said, df, and I'm screening for stock 1 and stock 2. So row stock 1, and the same story for stock 2, 0, 1, and x is 1. So this is just going to calculate the correlation between all pairs we have here. Super straightforward. This will end up with a combidf like this. So you now have a correlation column here. And this one we're using to filter for highly correlated pairs here, just to avoid some unnecessary computations later on. So I'm just reassigning combidf where the correlation is larger than 95. So I'm only taking very highly correlated stocks in my analysis here. So this will end us up with 1k combinations here. So we run it on a much smaller subset, making the process much faster. Now we reduce the number of stock pairs, and we need to check now whether their price movements are actually co-integrated, not just correlated. For this, we use the Augmented Dickey-Fuller test, ADF test in short. So what is the ADF test actually checking? ADF test is a unit root test that checks whether a time series is stationary, meaning its statistical properties, mean and variance, do not change over time. If the spread between two stocks is stationary, it suggests that the relationship is stable and does not drift indefinitely. If the test, so the ADF test, fails to reject the null hypothesis, so the p-value is larger than a certain threshold, in my case I'm taking 0.01, spread is non-stationary, meaning the two stocks might drift apart over time, making them unsuitable for pairs trading. If the p-value is smaller 0.01, we reject the null hypothesis, suggesting that the spread is stationary. Stationarity is a necessary condition for mean reversion, though, and this is very important, not a guarantee. So let's do that. Let's define a function which is running a regression to get the residuals, and then we apply an ADF test on the residuals. I'm not going into details how exactly an ADF test is working. If you're interested in that, let me know. I'm happy to go over it from scratch. Also a very interesting one, in my opinion. So I'm just going to call that do regression, this function, and this taking stock 1 and stock 2. As you can already imagine, we will just pass the combinations to that and run a regression. So the X is just the first stock, then screening for the values, and the Y is the second stock here. Then we add a constant. You have to do that using the stats models, OLS regression. And then you define the model as ordinary least square regression, pass Y and X, and fit the model. And then you define the residuals. You need them to pass that to the ADF test. So that is just y minus alpha plus beta times, and then just the x values. So obviously define alpha and beta. Don't forget that, as I just did. So alpha and beta is just the parameters of the model. So intercept and slope. So we got the residuals, and then this is also important. Just check if there is maybe an NaN value in the residuals, because this will crash the ADF test. So in that case, we just want to return an NaN value. And then in the end, we run the ADF test by using Dickey-Fuller, which we imported above, on the residuals. As said, let me know if you want to have that in detail. Happy to go over it. In the end, you just return the ADF results. So just as a side note, the first result is the ADF statistic. And then you have the ADF p-value. ADF results, this is the p-value. Then you also want to return the beta. We need that later on, and also the alpha. So just as a background, I just want to show you when running this, and I have a significant ADF value. I want to show you how the spread is looking like and how a co-integrated spread would look like. So I need the beta and alpha of the regression to show that in the chart. So this regression, by the way, I've covered that in my previous video in more detail if you're interested in that. So this is actually quite straightforward. It's just running an OLS regression, then runs the ADF test on the residuals of that regression. And whenever you call this function on two stocks, you're getting those statistics. So in the end, what we want is to apply those values onto that combidf, so we have it all in one place. So I'm just using an apply function again and create new columns here. So combidf, and then just what these values actually are. So ADF stat to get the ADF statistic, then the p-value, then the beta and the alpha. So I'm just generating columns here, and then again I'm using the similar story as before. I'm just applying to every single row in that data frame here. I'm applying that regression, nothing more than that. So again, using a lambda function on every single row. And then as I want to pass now a series of values, I'm just using PD series and then do regression. And now the regression parameters are just row stock 1, and row stock 2. So you just pass those values in every row for those stocks here. So meaning regression on this and this and this and this, this and this, and so on. Just a row-wise regression, nothing more than that. So this is crashing at some point. So I messed up at some level. Models is not defined. Yeah, had a typo here. Sorry for that. So running it new. NumPy has no attribute is NA. So messed up 2 times here. Probably is AN, is NaN. That should be fine. And now it's running. And notice it's taking some time, right? Because it's running ADF tests on 1K combinations here. So this might take quite some time. And I mean, try it for 100K rows. I think the runtime would be insane here. Getting some errors here. Well, he's trying to reset, but shouldn't matter for now. It's just warnings. So let's see how this is looking like. Looks very good. So we have an ADF stat, a p-value, a beta, and an alpha for all those combinations. So super nice. Now you could filter that for only small p-values, right? So you want to know the p-values, as I just said, which are smaller 0.01, showing high significance on the ADF test. So you want to just filter for very low p-values. And then for the ADF test, it counts the lower the ADF statistic, the higher the co-integration. In simple words. So you want to have this value as negative as possible. So you could just sort the data frame by the ADF statistic. Sorry for that. And now you see that, for instance, these stocks here have a very high negative ADF statistic and they are highly significant. Now let's visualize the spread of a co-integrated stock pair, AVGO and BSX, and you will very nicely see how a co-integrated spread is looking like. So in terms of the spread calculation, you just pass the second stock here, so BSX in that case. So you pull the prices for BSX and subtract the parameters. So meaning the intercept, in that case the alpha, plus the slope, the beta, times the price of the second asset, which is AVGO. Then you have the spread calculated and you can visualize that. So I'm just going to copy paste the matplotlib syntax here. I hope I imported it, did I? I didn't, sorry for that. So import matplotlib pyplot as PLT, and now you can very nicely see how a chart would look like this. So just as background, this is the mean spread, and this is how the spread is moving along. So you can very nicely see how it always goes back to the mean and never really detaches from it, at least over a longer time span here. So we successfully identified co-integrated pairs in the S&P 500 using Python. Powerful tool for statistical arbitrage and pairs trading strategies. So if you want a follow-up on backtesting the strategy, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the upcoming videos. Cheers. Bye.